Liam sat on the rooftop of his home staring up at the night sky. The stars looked the same as always, but something inside him felt different, empty. Like a room where laughter used to live. It had been 6 months since Ava moved to Mars. Not just another city, not just another country. Mars, humanity's first real colony off Earth. She had been chosen for the Great Mars Pioneer Program. "You'll do great things out there," he had told her when she left. But now he missed her more than he ever thought possible. They used to sit on this very roof, looking at the stars together. They'd talk about space, about the future, and about what they wanted to become. Ava always dreamed bigger than Earth. Liam admired that. He just never thought her dream would take her so far away. From him, Liam pulled out his old tablet and opened their last video message. Her smile filled the screen. Her voice, clear but slightly delayed, echoed in his ears. "Hey, Liam. ... It's cold here, but beautiful. The sunsets on Mars are orange and purple. You'd love it. I miss Earth. ... And you. I hope you're okay." Watched it 3 times. The sadness didn't come in loud sobs or sudden tears. It came quietly like a fog. Every evening when he walked home from work, every time he saw something funny and reached for his phone to text her, then remembered the time delay made it pointless. He missed her stories, her jokes, even the way she always interrupted him mid-sentence when she got excited. But mostly, he missed knowing she was nearby. He thought about sending her a message, but what would he even say? "Hi, Ava. I miss you." Too simple. "Things are fine here." To false? "I wish I had gone with you." Too late. He tossed the tablet aside and stared up at the stars again. He found Mars a tiny red dot just above the horizon. You can't even see me from there," he whispered. "I can't reach you." He remembered something Ava once said. "We're made to keep going, Liam. That's what being human means." Even when things hurt, especially then, she believed that. And maybe that belief was what got her across millions of miles to a red planet with thin air and no trees. And what had he done? Stayed behind, worked his small job, went to the same cafe, walked the same streets, waited. He felt useless, left behind. But he didn't want to feel that way anymore. He wanted to reconnect. Liam opened his tablet again. This time, instead of watching the old message, he opened a new one. The camera blinked to life. His face looked tired, but his eyes held something else, determination. "Hey, Ava," he began, voice soft. "I didn't know how much I'd miss you until you left. Every day I think about sending a message, and every day I talk myself out of it. But not tonight." He took a deep breath. "You always talked about being brave, about moving forward. I thought staying here made me weak, but maybe staying and hoping, maybe that's its own kind of strength." He looked up at the sky. "You're millions of miles away, but I'm still here, still thinking of you, still cheering for you. I'm not sure how long this will take to reach you, or if you'll even get it. But I wanted to say, I'm still here, and the stars still shine for you." He ended the message and sent it off into space. A reply might take weeks, or never come at all. But for the first time in months, Liam smiled. It wasn't a big smile, just a small one. But it was real, because hope had come back, because he had reached out, because no distance was too far for the human heart to try. He stayed on the roof a little longer, letting the cold night air wrap around him like a blanket. He wasn't alone, not truly. Somewhere out there, Ava might be looking up at the same stars, and maybe, just maybe, she missed him too. Days passed. Then weeks. Liam checked his messages every morning, every evening, and sometimes in the middle of the night when he couldn't sleep. There was nothing new from Ava. He tried not to let it show. At work, he smiled at customers and brewed coffee like always. At home, he washed the same dishes, folded the same clothes, and kept the same quiet routine. But inside, he felt like a ship drifting in space with no signal. The hardest part wasn't the silence. It was the not knowing. Did she see his message? Did it even reach her? Or maybe she was too busy on Mars, too tired, or just ... Moving on, Liam. tried to push the thoughts away. He went back to the rooftop every evening, just like they used to. Sometimes he brought tea. Sometimes he just sat there, watching the stars and wondering if she ever thought of him. One night, as he watched a satellite move slowly across the sky, something inside him spoke. If you feel distant, it said, maybe don't just wait. Do something. He sat up straighter. What could he do? He remembered something Ava once told him. Humans are stubborn. Yeah, that's why we made it to space. We fall. We try again. We build things even when the sky tells us not to. Liam felt that fire, the kind Ava always carried. And maybe, just maybe, it was time he stopped sitting still. He stood up and looked around. His small rooftop wasn't Mars, but it was his space. It was their space full of memories, and maybe it could still hold something new. That night he gathered lights from his room and brought them up. Made string lights, desk lamps, flashlights, anything that could glow. He arranged them in shapes, circles and lines. He spelled Ava's name in soft yellow lights on the floor. It wasn't perfect. The lights flickered. Some were dim, but it felt right. A message, a beacon, a tiny sign across the dark. The next day Liam did more. Found a community of people online, families, friends, and partners of Mars colonists, all waiting just like him. He joined their forum, read their stories, and shared his own. For the first time, he didn't feel so alone. One person replied, I sent a letter to my brother every week. He says even when they don't get through, it helps to know we're still trying. Another wrote, hope doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to keep going. Liam smiled. The human spirit, he realized, wasn't just about surviving space. It was about feeling, waiting, trying, even when nothing was certain. So he kept going. Each night made something new on the rooftop, a pattern of lights, a message in colored paper, a paper plane with a note attached. One message said, the earth still remembers you. Another, you may be far, but you're not forgotten. Sometimes he imagined Ava looking down with a telescope, seeing his tiny rooftop glowing in the dark. Probably not, but still, he hoped. Then, one cold evening, just as he was packing up the lights, his tablet buzzed. New message. Mars relay station. His heart raced, hands shaking. He opened the file. Ava's face filled the screen. Her hair was pulled back, and her cheeks were red from the cold, but her eyes still held that same fire. Liam, she said softly, I got your message. It took a while to reach me. Some lines are down here, and everything's a bit delayed, but I got it, and I cried. She smiled, not a perfect smile, but a real one. I miss you every day. I look up at the stars and think, is Liam seeing? These two? And now, knowing you're still there, still thinking of me, it means everything. She paused. I saw the pictures. The lights. Someone from Earth posted them in the forum. You made the roof our sky again. Her voice grew. Stronger, Liam. Don't think you were left behind. Earth needs dreamers too. You remind me why we came here, not to escape home, but to carry it with us. You're part of that. Then came her final words. Never stop reaching, Liam. The stars shine for both of us. The screen faded. Liam sat there, the wind cold on his face, but warmth blooming in his chest. She got his message, she remembered. She cared. The sky didn't feel so empty anymore. It felt full of words, of lights, of love, stretched across space. And in that moment, Liam knew. The distance hadn't broken their bond. It only shown how far the human heart could go. The message from Ava had given Liam a burst of joy that lasted for days. He watched it again and again, memorizing every word, every smile, every pause. Her voice echoed in his thoughts, reminding him that he wasn't alone, that even across the stars, someone still cared. But soon the silence returned. Weeks passed, then a month. No new messages. At first, Liam told himself it was normal. Communication between Earth and Mars took time. But the longer the silence stretched, the heavier it became. He didn't want to go back to feeling empty, but slowly, the weight of waiting returned. Each evening, He still climbed the rooftop. He brought his lights. He wrote small messages. Some were hopeful, like "still here." Others were questions like "are you okay?" But some nights, he just sat in silence, watching the stars, wishing they could speak back. One evening, his friend Jordan dropped by. "Liam," Jordan said, setting down 2 cups of hot cocoa, "you've been up here every night? It's okay to take a break?" "I don't want to," Liam said. "This is the only place I feel close to her." Jordan didn't argue. He just sat beside him and looked at the lights Liam had arranged in the shape of a heart. "You're doing something amazing, Jordan said quietly. "What? Most people would have given up by now." Liam looked down. "Sometimes I feel like this is all for nothing. It's like I'm yelling into space and nothing's coming back." Jordan smiled gently. "Maybe, but yelling into space still means you're alive, still means you care." That night, Liam thought about those words. He remembered when humans first launched satellites, when they sent messages on golden records into the dark. Not because they expected an answer, but because it was human to try. And if Ava had taught him anything, it was this: trying is never wasted. The next morning, Liam made a decision. He began writing short updates. Every Sunday, he recorded a message not just to Ava, but for anyone on Mars who might need a little reminder of Earth. He called it Letters to Mars, and posted them to the Earth's to Mars communication board. Some messages were funny. Some were serious. Some were filled with little Earth details: the smell of rain, the noise of street music, the taste of warm bread. He didn't know if Ava saw them, but he kept going. And something surprising happened. Others started replying. A man from Mars Station 4 said, "Your messages remind me of my mom's garden." A scientist wrote, "Keep them coming." Some of us listened during breakfast. One day, Liam got a message from a teacher on Mars who said, "My students look forward to your Earth stories. You give them hope." Liam stared at the screen, shocked. People were listening. People cared. He wasn't just a boy waiting for a message anymore. He had become a voice across space, and even though Ava hadn't sent another message yet, he knew he was reaching someone. That night, he climbed the roof and looked at Mars again. The red dot in the sky didn't feel so far now. He whispered, "I don't know if you can hear me, Ava, but I'm still here, still trying." As the wind passed gently over him, something changed inside. His sadness didn't vanish, but it softened, because he had found purpose again. Not in waiting, but in doing, in connecting, and staying human. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. The next day he bought a journal and wrote 3 words on the first page: "Still reaching out." He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but he would face it, message by message, light by light. One rooftop evening at a time, because across any distance, human hearts were still the bravest explorers of all. Asterisk, the mornings were cold now. Liam wrapped himself in a thick sweater as he sat at his small desk, typing out his next letter to Mars. The sun peeked through his window, soft and golden, but his thoughts were somewhere far away, millions of miles above. He didn't know if Ava had read his letters. He didn't even know if she was okay. But the habit of writing had become something more than a message to her. It had become a way to breathe. Today's letter was about the beach they used to visit in summer. He wrote about the soft sand between their toes, the salty wind, and the way Ava once made a sandcastle shaped like a rocket. He laughed at the memory. Liam paused. He looked out the window. "You'd love this sunrise," he whispered. Then he hit send. Later, he walked to the cafe where he worked part-time. As he made coffee and greeted customers, he noticed something. Surprising people were starting to recognize him. "Hey," a woman said as she picked up her order. "Are you the guy who writes those messages to Mars?" Liam blinked. "Yeah. My nephew is on Mars Station 3. He says your letters remind him of home." Liam didn't know what to say, just smiled. After work, he walked slowly through the streets. Everything looked the same. The trees, the shops, the tall buildings, but something inside him had changed. He didn't feel completely alone anymore that night. Liam stood on the rooftop again. He brought up his small solar lanterns and arranged them into a new shape, a spiral galaxy around it. He placed tiny glowing dots like stars, each one with a small paper note beside it. He called it his hope sky. Note carried a message. Not just from him, but from people who had replied to his posts. One read, "Dear brother, I still listen to your music." Another, "I'm proud of you, even if you're far away." And another, "Come home safe." He stayed on the roof late into the night, looking at what he had created. It wasn't a message just for Ava anymore. It was a message for everyone who had ever missed someone. Suddenly, a voice broke the silence. "You've been busy," said Jordan, appearing at the top of the stairs. Liam turned, surprised. "I couldn't sleep." Jordan shrugged. "Heard about your hope sky. Thought I'd come see it." They stood together for a long moment. "You're helping people, Liam," Jordan said. "You think you're just reaching out to one person, but you're lifting up dozens." Liam nodded slowly. "I guess I needed to feel ... useful." "You are," Jordan said. "You're showing people that we're not just smart or strong. We're also kind. We remember. We care." Liam looked back at the stars. Mars was there, dim but steady. "I just want her to know I haven't forgotten her," he said softly. "She knows," Jordan replied. "And even if she doesn't get every message, she'll feel it, somewhere deep down, because that's what humans do. We feel each other across time, across space." Liam smiled. Jordan stayed for a while, then left. But Liam remained on the roof, watching the wind move the paper notes gently. He thought about Ava, about her laugh, her big dreams, her fire. She had once called him her anchor, the one who kept her steady when her ideas ran wild. Be now, across the stars, he was still doing that, not with hands, but with hope. He looked at the glowing spiral on the roof and whispered, "We're still under the same stars." Still here? He didn't need an answer right away, because sometimes the human spirit was not about knowing. It was about believing. And Liam believed. Sometimes, even without answers, people keep reaching out because that's what makes us human. In this part, Liam begins to share his message with the world in a bigger way. And the spark of hope he carries starts to spread across Earth, and maybe even beyond. The morning sky was gray and heavy with clouds. But Liam still felt a quiet fire inside him. It had been 2 months since Ava's last message. He had stopped counting the days. Not because he didn't care, but because he had learned something. The heart doesn't measure time the way clocks do. It measures hope. Every Sunday, Liam still sent a message to Mars. He still posted on the forum. But now, he wasn't alone. Dozens of others had started sharing their own stories. A girl wrote letters to her mother, who was helping grow plants in Martian greenhouses. A father sent bedtime stories to his children across space. People were finding their voices again. One evening, a local news station contacted Liam. "We'd love to talk about your Letters to Mars project," the reporter said. "It's become something very special." Liam was nervous, but he agreed. The interview took place on his rooftop. Under the soft light of his lanterns and messages, he told them about Ava, about the silence, about the hope. "You don't need to be a scientist or astronaut to feel close to someone far away," Liam said. "You just need to keep reaching." When the interview aired, everything changed. His inbox filled with messages. Some were from Earth. Others were from Mars. One came from a doctor working in Mars Station 6. "Your letters help my patients smile again. Thank you for reminding us what it means to be human." Liam sat still for a long time after reading that one. That night, he walked to the roof and looked at the stars again. They seemed brighter than usual. He remembered something Ava once said when they were teenagers, lying under the sky. Humans don't stop. Even in the cold, even in the dark, we find a way to leave a light on. He took a deep breath and whispered, "You were right, Ava." Suddenly, a thought came to him. What if they could send a real message to Mars? Not just online posts, not just messages floating through old systems. What if Earth could send a signal big enough for everyone on Mars to see? He shared the idea. With the forum, what if we all turn on lights, point them at the sky, and form a message together? The idea spread like fire. People loved it. Schools joined. City buildings joined. Even space agencies noticed. Someone made a map of where people would shine their lights. Liam called it Earth's Light for Mars. The event was set for the last night of the year, a way to end with hope and begin with connection. In the days leading up to it, Liam worked harder than ever. He built new light shapes on his roof. He helped others in his city set up their own. He even wrote a new letter, Dear Mars, you're not forgotten. You're not alone. Look toward Earth and you'll see us still reaching, still waiting, still shining. When the night finally came, Liam stood on his rooftop with Jordan, his parents, and a few neighbors. The wind was cold, but the air was full of excitement. At exactly 9 p.m., the lights turned on. Thousands, maybe millions. Across cities, towns, and rooftops, people had turned on lanterns, flashlights, holiday lights, drones, anything that glowed. From above, Earth looked like it was sending a message not just to Mars, but to the universe. Liam looked up. Tears filled his eyes. Do you think she can see it? He whispered. I think, Jordan said. She already does. The moment was quiet and bright, not loud, not fancy, but deeply human. In that stillness, under the glowing stars and shining rooftops, Liam felt something lift. The sadness didn't go away completely, but it became something lighter, because now the distance didn't feel like a wall. It felt like a bridge. Asterisk, sometimes hope grows stronger when shared with others. In this part, Liam's message reaches beyond what he imagined, showing how humanity's kindness and determination can cross any distance. The days after the Earth's Light for Mars event were filled with something new, warmth. Liam woke up to messages from people all over the world. They sent photos of lights on rooftops, streets, and even mountains. They shared stories about how the event had made them feel connected to someone far away. Liam smiled every time he read a new message. For the first time, it wasn't just about waiting or hoping alone. It was about belonging to something bigger. A human family reaching across space. At work, his coworkers asked about the event. Some said they had turned on their porch lights just to be part of it. Liam told them how Ava had inspired everything one afternoon. While Liam was getting coffee, he saw a young girl holding a small sign. It said, For Mars. She looked up and smiled shyly. My dad's on Mars, she said softly. He told me about your letters. Liam's heart lifted. Tell him I said hi. She nodded and ran off. That night, Liam climbed to his rooftop and sat with his lights. The sky was clear. Stars glittered like diamonds. He thought about Ava, about how far she had gone to follow her dreams. He remembered the last message she sent, the words about hope and reaching suddenly. His tablet buzzed. Another message from Mars. This time, it wasn't from Ava. It was from someone else. Liam. This is Dr. Soren from Mars Station 2. I wanted to thank you for your letters. They mean more than you know. We are far from home, but your words remind us we are not alone. Your hope is our strength. Liam's eyes filled with tears. The message showed that what he was doing mattered, not just for Ava, but for many others who faced the same distance, the same loneliness. He typed back carefully. Thank you, Dr. Soren. Your work is incredible. We're all connected, no matter the miles. After sending, Liam looked up at Mars again. It was brighter than before, or maybe just felt that way. He realized something important. Being human wasn't just about going far or achieving great things. It was about reaching out, caring, holding on to hope when the future seemed uncertain. That night, Liam wrote a new letter for the forum, to everyone feeling distant or alone. You are seen, you are loved. Keep reaching, keep shining. The human spirit will carry us through. He didn't know what would happen next, but for the first time in a long time, Liam felt ready. Ready to face the silence. Ready to believe in the light. Ready to keep being human. Sometimes hope shines brightest in the darkest moments. In this part, Liam faces a new challenge. But his human spirit and belief in connection keep him moving forward, reminding us all that hope never truly fades. The seasons changed again, But Liam's heart still carried the same quiet ache. Though the messages from Mars had been a comfort, the gap between him and Ava felt larger some days. The distance was real, and sometimes it was hard to hold on. One cold evening, Liam sat by his window, staring at the red dot in the sky that marked Mars. He sighed deeply. The stars were bright, but his thoughts were heavy. He missed her than words could say. He opened his tablet and scrolled through his messages, the letters, the replies, the stories from others. But Ava's name was missing. No new message. His chest tightened. The silence wasn't easy anymore. He wanted to reach out again, but he wasn't sure how. What if she was busy? What if she had moved on? What if his hope was just wishful thinking? Liam's fingers hovered over the screen. He wanted to type, to send something, anything, but the words caught in his throat. He closed the tablet instead. He stood and went to his rooftop. The cold night air brushed his face, and he pulled his jacket tighter. The hope sky was still there, glowing softly in the dark. The paper notes fluttered in the breeze like tiny wings. He reached out and touched one. It read, "Keep shining. You're still here." Liam closed his eyes. He thought about what Ava once said about human strength, about never giving up, and in that moment, he made a choice. He would keep shining.
Nice.
He would keep reaching. He would keep hoping, not because he was sure of a reply, not because he expected a miracle, but because that was who he was, a human, and humans never stop trying. The next morning, Liam wrote a letter, not for Ava, but for himself. "Dear me, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to feel lost. But don't forget, hope is a fire inside. It needs to be fed. So keep going, keep shining, keep being human." He posted the letter to the forum and added a new message with it. Sometimes the hardest part is waiting, but that doesn't mean we give up. Messages came back quickly. People shared their own struggles with distance and loneliness. Reminded Liam he was not alone. That night, Jordan visited again. "You okay?" Jordan asked gently. Liam nodded. I just had to remind myself why I started this." Jordan smiled. "You're stronger than you think. And you're not just helping Ava. You're helping all of us." They looked up at the stars together. The sky was quiet, but it was full of light, and Liam knew, no matter what happened next, he would keep reaching because hope was what made him human, and the stars were still shining for both of them. Asterisk, even across the greatest distances, the human heart can find its way home. In this final part, Liam discovers that hope, patience, and faith in connection can bridge any space. Showing the true power of the human spirit, it was late spring when Liam's tablet buzzed again. He almost didn't notice it. He had learned to live with silence, to carry hope quietly inside him without needing constant answers. But this time, the message was different. The screen lit up with Ava's face. She looked tired but happy. The background showed a small Martian greenhouse, with green plants glowing softly. "Liam," she said softly, "I'm sorry it took so long to reply. Things here have been hard, more than I expected. But your messages, all of them, they helped me. Helped us." Her eyes shone with emotion. "We're building a new home here. But Earth is still home too. Your hope kept me going when I felt far away and alone." Liam's throat tightened. Words felt too small for what he wanted to say. She continued. "I see your lights, Liam, the hope sky, the messages from Earth. It means the world to us." For a moment, they just looked at each other through the screen. Two people separated by millions of miles, yet connected in a way no distance could break. "I miss you." Liam finally whispered. "I miss you too," Ava replied. She smiled gently. "We'll find a way to visit soon. Till then, keep shining. You're light. You're the reason I'm still here." The call ended, but Liam stayed on the rooftop, looking up at the stars. The red dot of Mars blinked softly. He thought about all the times he had waited, hoped, and reached out. All the messages, sent and received. All the people who had joined in. It hadn't been easy, but it had been worth it. Because being human meant never giving up. Being human meant carrying hope, even when the night was long. Being human meant believing that love could cross any distance. Liam smiled. The stars were still shining for both of them, and as long as that light burned, they would never be truly apart.